What would you do with your life if money were not a factor? That's my favorite question to ask.
I like that question.
What do you think is the meaning of life?
What do they say?
I want to start a bunny mansion.
Oh my gosh. The rules in this world that we think are rules, they don't exist.
Just being myself, I attract people who are similar to me and make deeper friendships.
If you are fully yourself, you will also inspire other people to be fully themselves.
I dance on LinkedIn. For me, I feel like we all have limited time on this planet and I want to maximize my potential, my own potential. And by maximizing my own potential, I feel like I have ability to uplift more others along the way and help other people achieve their potential as well.
And I think it's really important to be embarrassed, to embarrass yourself. Embarrassment is so undervalued. Instead of avoiding embarrassment, we should lean into it. Failure is the mother of success or something like that.
My room has good lighting.
It does. Oh my god, your room has perfect lighting. Oh my god, there's so much laughing in the back. Hey guys, it's Maggie. So today I'm here with Grace.
Hello.
Grace is a founder of Design Buddies, and she's also the founder of Bunny House, which we're at right now. It's a creator co-living house. So do you want to quickly introduce yourself, meet Design Buddies, and what you're working on?
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Grace. Thanks Maggie for having me on. I'm a founder, designer, and a content creator born and raised in Silicon Valley. Currently, I'm based in San Francisco. I founded this huge design community called Design Buddies with over 150,000 members total, helping designers land jobs and improve their skills and have fun along the way. I host lots of events and I create content about design, career, lifestyle. And formerly, I was a UX designer at a large tech company. Just left my job last week to do community events content full time. I also founded a founder creator house in SF called Bunny House, and we're filming in my room right now.
Yeah, her room is super cozy and super cute, and she has a lot of cute decorations also in the living room. Yeah, that's super cool. Do you want to kind of talk about how you left your 9-to-5 job, why you chose to leave, and why you chose to transition to this full-time?
Yeah, so I had a wonderful time at my tech company job. I've been there for about 3.5 years. It's my first job out of college. Learned and grew so much as a UX designer. Main reason why I left wasn't because I didn't like my job, it was because a lot of my community building content creation was taking off, and I didn't have the bandwidth to continue both anymore, and I found more fulfillment personally in growing communities and content full time. So I worked at Electronic Arts EA, and it's always been my dream growing up to work in a games company. I played so many games growing up. They shaped a huge part of who I am. It got me into drawing, games, community building. Actually, I was most obsessed with MapleStory. I was also a guild leader back in the day, so that alludes to community building 10 years later. And I had such a wonderful time at EA. I actually got into EA through pure networking actually and personal branding. I do not have a design degree. In fact, I studied bioengineering and computer science engineering in school. I just drew a lot and just did a bunch of projects. So I'm so grateful for EA for giving me the opportunity to start my career there without any formal design degree. And I learned and grown so much as a designer. But along the way, I've always had a lot of side hustles outside of school, like Design Buddies, content creation, and just simply took off. So decided to finally take the plunge and quit my day job, and seeing how far I can take Design Buddies, content, and community even further without the restrictions of a day job.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Grace is super cool, and I think one thing that really stands out about her that I've noticed. So I met her online, and we've chatted online, and this is actually my first time meeting her in person. But I think one thing that really stands out is the enthusiasm and the pure energy and childlike enthusiasm kind of. I think that's a really rare trait. I feel you're really passionate, but you're also very grounded. What do you think are the pros and cons of leaving a 9-to-5 and doing your own thing? Do you think you enjoy life more without a 9-to-5, or what do you miss about the 9-to-5 too?
I think it really depends on the person. Quitting your job isn't something I would recommend to everyone. I quit my job when all my stuff I was doing, content and community, was making more money than my day job. And so I would definitely consider your finances, whether you have debt, your financial situation, and have that into consideration, because you don't want to be in debt or live have like kind of hardship that way. But I would say some people prefer more structure, and it's not like a really bad thing. It's just what you prefer, and prefer having stability, which is also something that is good to have. But some people like me prefer to kind of just like live life on my own and seeing how far I can take myself, because for me, when I guess like kind of a bit background, when I growing up, I was born and raised in like Silicon Valley, where a lot of the adults wanted you to become like doctor, lawyer, engineer, or failure. And I didn't want to be any of them, so I was a failure. But so both my parents are also professors. They've been at their universities for over 30 years, and so stability was a huge theme in me. And so growing up, I was like, oh, gotta be stable. And so right out of college, I wanted to work at a corporate job because it was stable. It's like guaranteed fixed income every month, and pretty stable overall. But I feel like the cons is the pros is stability, but the cons is I feel like you don't really get to choose what you work on. Oftentimes you have to, like, it's all built on relationships, and sometimes you get stuck with something you're not really necessarily passionate in, but you have to because the company's paying you to. And I feel like I feel more restricted at my day job. Like, there's stuff I want to do, but I don't have opportunity to do that. And for me, I have a lot of ideas that I'm gonna execute my own. I've always felt like I was more independent. I was also like quite rebellious in a way. Like, people tell me, oh, I have to do something, like I have to follow rules. I would like break them, as long as it's legal and doesn't harm anyone. Disclaimer, yes. So for me, I've always liked content creation, drawing, and just kind of doing stuff outside of school. And this is kind of like a next step in me. Like, but I also found a lot of value working at a corporate job early on in my career. I've been at EA for about 3.5 years, learned so much about how things work and how products are built, how companies are run. And so I think it is valuable early on in your career to work at a company and learn from others before building your own ideas. So my recommendation, if you're interested in kind of following more entrepreneurship, is if you don't really know what you want to do outside of college, I found a lot of value in getting a job and incubating your own ideas on the side. And when they take off, make more money. When you're financially stable, like, quit your job and pursue your passions.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good advice. And what do you think is like the main value that's provided to you from like a 9 to 5? Like, what do you think, are there things that you learn in like the corporate world that you're not able to learn elsewhere? Like, if you were to do your own thing, like without any of that experience?
I think it really depends. Everyone's 9 to 5 is still a bit different, but I learned a lot about working with people, working with product managers, working with engineers, business partners, resolving conflict, and also learning about different disciplines like business, engineering, had mentorship, because I feel like when you're at a company, you have people who are more experienced, at direct access to the community of people who are more experienced than you are, and you can learn from that as well. Of course, the money, definitely number one. Like, guaranteed monthly salary or guaranteed like consistent salary is also something that is good. Getting stocks, salary, and also a good resume builder, to be honest. Like, having a big name, as unfortunate as it sounds, like when I talk to people, they care about where you work. So I feel like it helped in that sense as well. So I don't think working at a company is a bad thing, but I think sometimes you get some experience and you feel like it's ready to move on, Yeah, there's really like no good or bad thing unless you're like doing something like really immoral. I think it really just like depends on the person. We were talking earlier, there are like some people in like the living room, but we were talking about like ADHD, how like if you have ADHD, I think you're more likely to become an entrepreneur, or like your like skill set in your mind might be a bit more aligned towards entrepreneurship. Yeah, I think it really depends on like your preferences and if you like want the freedom and autonomy to work on something of your own. Because I feel like if you're like working for someone else, you're kind of following like their dream and their vision, versus working for yourself, you have the freedom to like fully follow your own vision without like someone else telling you what to do as much. In terms of the deep conversation thing, we can ask each other like deep questions we're just like curious about. Yeah, like the intention of this video is to like make it like an organic deep conversation, to kind of show an example of what like a deep conversation can look like. Because I like did not prepare any interview questions, I kind of wanted this to be organic. Yeah.
So, yeah.
What would you do with your life if money were not a factor? That's like my favorite question to ask.
I like that question. I really like that question. I like ask people that question. Yeah, I think I actually like feel like what I'm pursuing is what I do if money weren't a factor. Like I feel like I personally want to make a really big change in the world. I feel like I have a responsibility to make a really big impact and to solve a problem. And so I feel like work for me is kind of about, first of all, it's about like pursuing my passions, doing what I love. Cause I feel like I always preach that to people. I'm always like, oh, like we should like pursue our passions and do what we love. And like, I feel like in order for me to preach that, I have to like kind of set an example and work on what I love. And I think an aspect of what I love is like content creation and like YouTube, for instance. But work for me is also like, I do want to start a company, and like I know what problem I want to solve, and I generally know what company to start, and I will do that in the future. I'm gonna like, I need to like build up my skills and learn a lot of things, and then I will definitely work on that. But I feel like, so for me it's kind of a balance, and for me I'm not like super passionate about like business or like business concepts like marketing, finance. I'm not like super passionate about it, but I feel like for me it's like, if I feel like the purpose is, if I feel like I care enough about the purpose, if I care a lot about the purpose, I will work on it even if I don't like it. Like even if I don't like the business aspects of it, I'll still work really hard on it and put a lot of hours into it, because I feel like the larger purpose in general is like worth it. So for me, it's kind of the balance of doing what I love, and also like, I think I want to start a company, which is like, that's like a responsibility. And then, yeah, wait, sorry, was your question about work, or was it just like life in general?
Life in general.
Oh, okay, life in general. And then outside of, and I have a few other things that I want to work on down the line, but yeah, I feel like the most important thing, I've like talked about this a lot in my videos. I feel like the most important thing in life is like the people and like family and friends and stuff. So ultimately I want to focus on my relationships, and I guess that's also kind of connected to my purpose. I want to foster meaningful relationships for other people. I want other people to find their community and good friends, and to like foster a more deep conversation. Like that's kind of connected to this video too. I kind of want to inspire deeper conversation and to foster like more meaningful relationships. But yeah, how about you? What's your answer to the question?
Yeah, I feel like I would continue doing what I'm doing now. I feel like I am kind of person that doesn't wait for I feel like I spend so much time waiting, like asking for permission. Like when I was growing up, I was always told that I need to follow a schedule, be rigid, ask for permission. And lately I've just been like doing things because they simply sounded fun, and that for me right now, that looks like, I love like community building, I love content creation, I love events, I love like designing experiences that bring people together. So like whether that's like online or in person, hosting small group, large group meetups, and just helping make networking fun and helping people be comfortable being themselves regardless of what environment they're in, like whether it's like a corporate environment, professional environment, because I feel like I spend so much time like being hesitant about just being myself, and I realize when I'm just being myself, I attract people who are similar to me and make deeper friendships. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what I'll do, but I just like love bringing people together and helping people be their full self and have fun and good vibes all along.
Yeah. I think authenticity, I like really care about that too. I think it's so important to like be like fully yourself. I feel like I've also like said this in my previous videos, I think like everything kind of starts with yourself. It's like self-love is so important, being yourself and like just being genuinely yourself. Like if you do that, you'll be able to attract the right people to you. Like I feel like we might not need to pursue other people, you know. It's like we kind of just like radiate our own authentic energy, and then the right people will come to us, or like we will attract the right people to us, just like relationships in general. And I feel like another good thing about being like authentic is like, if you are like fully yourself, like you will also inspire other people to be like fully themselves. It's like if other people see that you're like choosing to be vulnerable and genuine, then they will also want to do that. I think it just has a really cool like ripple effect.
Yeah, show them it's okay to do it. Like, I dance on LinkedIn, so as an example.
Yeah, I love that.
As I was always like the class clown growing up, and so with you as well. Like, I love just like yelling random stuff. Like, I love making people laugh. I love making people feel entertained and feel like it's okay to crack jokes.
For
It's
sure.
good to have fun, connect on a human level. Don't like hide yourself to seek someone else's approval. There's plenty of fish in the sea. If someone doesn't vibe with you, that's okay. They're allowed to have their own opinions, but there's plenty of like nice people in this world. So don't hold yourself back.
Yeah. There's so many good people in this world. Like, I know like there's a lot of evil in this world and a lot of like, just a lot of like immoral, corrupt stuff happening, but like there's still a lot of good and genuine and well-intentioned people. I think like before, it's like interesting, like my priority of like core values. I think before, like I thought like I really prioritize like authenticity, and like kindness was also like my top core value. But now kindness is like above everything. Like I think I feel like, well, I think they're all interrelated. Like they're all like connected. It's not like independent values, but I think like kindness is like my top thing for like everything. Like I don't know, like if I like try to make friends with people who are kind, and it's like I've noticed like if there's no kindness in someone, it's like it can be a bit dangerous. Like I don't know, like the situation can be a little bit dangerous. Like I think it's like important to avoid like, okay, I might cut this stuff out, but like it's like important to avoid like narcissists. Let me think of a deep question to ask.
What do you think is the meaning of life?
What do they say? I actually made a video on that, but I mean, I could ask you that.
Or
like,
any question you want.
Okay. I mean, sure. Like, what do you think is the meaning of life?
I feel like the meaning of life is however you define it. Like it depends on what you want out of it, and it's like different for everyone. And at least for me, it's like finding. I don't know. I'm like always discovering that. I didn't like think of an answer. It's just like vibing. Like vibing. Like
having, that's so true.
Yeah, just vibing,
chilling,
having fun. Trying to see how I can help others along the way. And being myself, and hopefully I can help other people be themselves as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And live their best life.
Yeah, I love the answer. Yeah. I think, honestly, I think like life is like pretty simple. Like I think like a lot of people might like overcomplicate it, and in ways it is very complicated and like very, very complex. But I think to the fundamentals, it's very simple. I feel like life is just like, well, it's like different for each person. I think it's really just about finding your core values and following those values every step of the way and being moral. And morality can be a core value of yours, but it's literally just like doing what's authentic to you in each moment and doing what's right and trying your best. I think that's literally all there is to it. I don't think it's like super complicated. But yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think life is like more simple or like more complicated than people make it to be?
I feel like it depends on how you want it to be. Like, if you want it to be complicated, that's like okay as well. If you want it to be simple, that's okay. I think it's like simple, just like be happy. I feel like that sounds like so like generic, but like do things that you want to do, and don't let anyone stop you, and don't let anyone tell you how you think about it, because everyone interprets it differently.
Yeah, for sure. Also, let me think. What is like your biggest dream, or like the biggest, or it doesn't necessarily have to be big. Big is like subjective, or like I think like even like spending time with your friends is like big, or like it's just okay. Like what is like one of your most important dreams or things you want to do in this lifetime?
I feel like I'm still kind of discovering that. I know I love just like bringing people together, like at Bunny House, or I recently started Bunny House, and like I always like wanted to live in like a hacker house, but I just decided to like start my own because I could, and it's been so fun, so I can decorate it however I want. I've just moved here like 3 weeks ago, and it's hosted so many events already. And next step, after my year lease ends, I want to start a bunny mansion.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! And to host like the best events. Like I feel like events and creating memories for people is something people can't ever take away. That's why I'm really passionate about creating cool, memorable experiences with people, and whether that be like hosting like a party, or like in a conference, hiking, like having fun, traveling together. So whatever will help me like help people have good memories and have a good time in general.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like creating and like fostering community is just invaluable. Like there's nothing else like that could replace that. Just like having the right people in your life, people you can depend on, people you trust, people you like vibe with. I feel like, yeah, I feel like with those people like out there, like they have very good energy, you know, like you guys have good energy, and it's just like finding people that you connect with. I think that's just so valuable. Like human connection, like one of the most invaluable things that we can experience, I think.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I also like wanted to move up to SF away from my parents' house, because I lived in Cupertino. Most of my friends are up here, and my parents like probably wouldn't let me have people over. And now it's like, oh, I have this house. I can do anything I want and choose who I want to live with. So I get to curate people who are like down to have people over, and just kind of, for me, like, I guess like also as a community leader, I really resonate with, for me, like my like, I guess kind of my philosophy or like my way of thinking is I want to just be welcoming to people and learning about all sides of the story and then making decisions. So I just like people with like open-mindedness and like good energy overall.
We can wrap this up soon and we can like do a group conversation, but are there any like last questions like you want to ask or like you want to answer, like topics that you want to talk about?
I could talk about like what happened in the past 6 weeks, I guess. I was like pretty life-changing for it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You said you're a lot happier, right? Like after like
a big life change.
Huge life change,
Yeah, maybe the question would be like, what kind of like recent life discoveries have you had lately?
Oh, wow, okay. Let me think. This is like really broad, but I think like, I'm not even sure how to word this. It's kind of like the rules in this world that we think are rules, they like don't exist. Or like the world that we perceive, everything is like, it's just a figment of our own mind and the societal norms. It's just like nothing that we necessarily believe to be true could be true. Like everything has to be questioned. It's kind of like we're living in a matrix, and like I think like throughout my childhood and like stuff, I was always super keen on being authentic and stuff and following my own path and not like following what other people say necessarily. But recently it's even more of like, oh, like we can really just shape our lives to be whatever we want them to be. Like whatever people expect of us, whatever norms there are, like, you know, like a lot of people expect you to go to college and then, well, at least like, yeah, a lot of people expect you to like go through college, even something like that. Like you just realize it's just a general societal expectation that is a projection of their beliefs, and there is no, like, even if like I saw like a picture on Instagram, it was like, even if there's like a bunch of like ants crawling up a tree, and it's like, oh, why are like all those ants crawling up the tree, but this ant, like, why are you like not crawling up? It's like the ant is like I don't know why these are ants, but like the ant is like, oh, like just because like other people are doing all this, like it doesn't mean that it's best for like my life. So although societal norms, some of them are there for a reason, a lot of them, I feel like everything you have to question, everything you have to like, yeah, everything you have to examine for your own life and see what's like best for you. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like doing something that makes you uncomfortable every day to grow. So for context, in the past 6 weeks, I have moved out of my parents' house from Cupertino to San Francisco. I started like a founder creator house, and I quit my job. So those are like really big things. And I feel like why I did this was, I feel like for all my life, I just felt like there's so much structure, so much like lack of creative freedom. And I feel like there's so much potential for me to grow, and my parents were pretty strict, pretty judgmental, but I believe they come from a good place. But I feel like it was also restricting my growth, and that's why I moved out. But last year, so kind of taking a step back a bit, I decided to go to like 20 different countries last year and just like exploring outside, because during COVID we're all locked at home and I got like really bored and really sick of my routine. So last year I was like, oh, open this whole world across like 3 different continents, and just traveled a lot. And then this year I decided to move out of my parents' house because I wanted to move to San Francisco because there's so much more community stuff going on and more of my friends are up here. And just by doing something that helps me feel uncomfortable every day, I feel like I'm like accelerating a lot more as a person. So uncomfortable things, for example, moving out is a big one, but also could be reaching out to someone on LinkedIn, reaching out or going to an event that you don't feel like you might on paper belong in. It could be trying a new restaurant. It could be trying a new hike. I guess like doing uncomfortable things every day and finding comfort in the discomfort. For me, I feel like we all have limited time on this planet and I want to maximize my potential, my own potential. And by maximizing my own potential, I feel like I have ability to uplift more others along the way and help other people achieve their potential as well.
Yeah.
So I try to grow, do things uncomfortable so I grow, so help uplift other people at the same time.
Yeah. I like love the quote. It's like if you change yourself, you can change the world. Like everything starts with yourself. And yeah, I agree with the idea of like doing things that you're uncomfortable with. And I think it's like really important to be embarrassed, to embarrass yourself. Like embarrassment is so undervalued. Like instead of avoiding embarrassment, we should lean into it and we should try to be embarrassed. Well, I guess like, I feel like it's like when you embarrass yourself, it just shows you're trying at something and you're failing. And I think it's like, I think like some people might be like scared of like showing that they're trying or like failing. Like failing publicly especially could be like really scary. So it's kind of like just like not being afraid to embarrass yourself. Because like failure is like, what was the quote? It was like failure is like the mother of success or something like that. But yeah, I think, yeah, I agree with a lot of the points you said. Do you want to wrap it up and we can do like a group conversation?
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, thank you so much, Grace, for like having this conversation with me. I hope you guys took something out of the video. Grace had like a lot of really good and like thought-provoking points. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching. If you guys like deep conversation, make sure to check out my channel. I do a lot of like deep question, philosophical, just like things about life that I'm curious about and things that I like want to share with others. So yeah.
Make sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for having me on. Hit the like button down below and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.